We're at Snappy Tomato Pizza at Skyhawk Talk. I'm Chris Brinkley here with Coach Kevin McMillan. Coach, I think the entire team is here, right?
I think they are. They're over there. Well, they destroyed the buffet a few minutes ago, so I think they are over there.
We have pictures that you can get autographed. They've all got Sharpies, which is really cool, and Coach McMillan might sign it if we look at him.
You don't want me to sign one. Get the girls to sign it and let the coaches fade off in the sunset. That'd be nicer.
And also the OVC Championship T-shirts that were at the selection show are here. And the players are over there taking pictures. I see Jasmine standing up. And it's just a big night here at Snappy Tomato Pizza. And we encourage you to come out and be a part of the Skyhawk Talk radio program. This is why we did this tonight, Coach, to put a lot of praise on you and your basketball team. What a tremendous run you had this season, all the way to the NCAA basketball tournament, almost pulling off the big upset against North Carolina. And what a year for your basketball team.
Well, I think arguably, Chris, it's the best that we've ever had. The most wins in school history, the best appearance that we've had in the NCAA tournament, probably the most dominating overall statistically that we've done. Took more of the awards home, and just in tons of areas, it was probably the best that we've ever done. And that group of seniors is leaving, setting the bar really, really high.
We knew. Let's look back. I know I asked you a lot of questions during the season, and you would say, "Well, I don't know that yet, Chris." But now you know all this because the season's over, so you can't give me that answer. But when you look back at the beginning of the season, the expectations were indeed high because you did have 3 seniors, and you knew that those seniors would give you leadership and they had the ability to play basketball. What you didn't know, other than I guess Katie Schubert, is how everybody else would play because you really had a very young team.
Well, everybody talked about North Carolina and their youth, and I think if you took out the 2 seniors, we were playing 4 freshmen and a sophomore in our 7 or 8 that played in that championship game. And you're right, we didn't know going into the season how they were going to respond, and we knew that there were some pieces to the puzzle that could do it, but we didn't know who. We didn't know where, when, how. It's kind of funny at the beginning of the season. We kind of thought it was going to be Caldwell and Massengill that would kind of fill those roles, and it ended up being more along the lines of Asia and Shea. Mm-hmm. But then those other 2 contributed greatly. It just our team kind of tweaked some during the middle of the season. But you never knew early in this. That's why we peaked late, was because it took us a while to get everybody comfortable with what we needed to do. But I guess 24-8 is not really peaking late. I mean, you were pretty good the whole way, but
you got much better.
We were a lot better.
It was obvious when you watch the scores, and that's where I want to give you and the coaching staff credit and the players, because when you're dealing with players that are coming in for the first time, they're learning you, you're learning them, and then you're learning what to do with the pieces of the puzzle, which we always talk about. And as a coaching staff, you've got to figure out how to utilize every player to their best and to your advantage.
Well, the biggest challenge is that the players have to conform to what the team needs done the best, and sometimes that makes people play a little bit out of their comfort zone to try to help the team win basketball games. And ironically, probably the 2 players that we asked to play outside their comfort zone the most are Butler and Newsom. And nobody would think that if you watched them play, because those 2 would rather not do what they're doing. They would rather not score as many points. They'd rather be dishing it and getting everybody involved and doing whatever. But in order for us to be as successful as we thought we needed to be, they needed to score a lot for us. And so that's what we asked them to do. Sometimes the freshmen coming in who average a lot of points, and so they can't quite adjust to being asked to not score as much their first year, because it's a growth process. And most of them, if they would think back to their freshman year in high school, they didn't do a lot that year. But you forget it when you become a senior, which is natural. But it really was a process for these kids, and I thought Asia was just the poster child this year for figuring it out and kind of putting us on her back in the post area. Just played absolutely phenomenal, and especially at the North Carolina game.
I don't know if I have seen a player progress like she did this season. And maybe my memories of November are, but to me, there were times in the Georgia State game and the Gonzaga game and the Quinnipiac game where she looked like a freshman.
She looked like Bambi.
Yeah,
she kind of Bambi.
Unsure of herself. Her post moves were very deliberate and slower. And then we watched this amazing evolution of her ability to play basketball. And it was fantastic.
Well, I would love to sit here and take credit for that, but I can't. And I would love to give all the credit in the world to Coach Russell, who works with the post, and he would say what it was Asia kind of stepping back, so to speak, and watching and going, how do I figure this thing out? And trying this, I don't know about that. It was like she was sticking her toe in the water and pulling it back out, and then she put her arm in. And I would probably circle for her the game at Southern Illinois when I think she really came out and blossomed.
December 23rd.
That was late in December, and after that, I think I would love to see her stats. And how many points she averaged from that game on, which I bet she's going to be around 20, and it was just dominating for her.
Yeah, I mean, you even look at all overall, she averaged 13.1 points a game, but in conference play, it was much better.
I think it was 18 or 19 in conference play, and there were some games there early that I think she was hurt and didn't play a lot in a game or two, and just kind of getting adjusted. But again, a phenomenal season on her part to give us a chance, because you got to have somebody else step in there and contribute for you. And she definitely was the dominant force for us inside.
We have a big crowd here at Snappy Tomato Pizza and Chris Brinkley with Coach Kevin McMillan. It's the last Skyhawk Talk of the year. The players are here. We're going to have some of them on the air. It's an abbreviated version of the show, and I hate that, but tonight at 6 we have NCAA women's basketball on the radio and the NCAA tournament. And, Coach, I want to look back at the season with you and just ask you a couple questions as I have the entire our schedule and our wins and our scores. What was the best overall performance of the year when you look back? If there's one game you had to circle and 10 years from now you say, I want you to look at this basketball team, watch this game.
Well, I don't think you can pick any other game than North Carolina. I thought that was huge. I think you could pick a half at Florida State, the second half of Florida State. I think the Quinnipiac game was really big, because that team was really, really good. Winthrop was another game that was really, really good. And then there were some very dominating games in conference. I think there was a stretch of games, Tennessee Tech, SIUE, Eastern Illinois, where I think we put up we averaged like 106 points a game.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I think there's quite a few of those. But it just depends on kind of what you're looking for. Shooting-wise, it may be this game. Overall effort, in the press, it may be this game. I just think there were tons of different kind of games that you would say were dominant. But I think if you look overall at the North Carolina game and how well we played and executed and the effort that those kids gave, I don't think you can pick another one.
And we're seeing now, as North Carolina advances in the NCAA tournament, your team, especially in the first half, has done things to them that they have not had done to them all season by anybody, and not in the NCAA tournament.
Right. I mean, and it was the first 30 minutes of that game. I mean, we built up an 18-point lead, and really they didn't have an answer. They had no answer for what we were doing to them. And, I mean, it was as dominating a performance by us as that I had seen in forever, and especially against a BCS school.
In a different style of play than you had played most of the season.
Yeah, it was different. It really wasn't, and I mean it was and it wasn't. The ESPN announcers were just ragging me the day before about how can you change? This is what you do. This is your identity. Da 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 da. And we basically didn't change. If you really look at it, all season long, who controls the games for us?
Your guard.
Our two guards, and they control it with the speed and the quickness. Mm-hmm. And we just chose with North Carolina that they're still going to control the game. They're just going to keep the ball in their hands longer and not give it up as quickly, and just make sure that the ball stays in their hands longer. So it wasn't really
a little
change.
different, though. Patience is not easy.
It's not, except with the ball in those two seniors' hands the most of the time. They're mature enough to be able to switch speeds. And when they could do it, that let the other ones kind of relax and do it. And so it wasn't that big of an adjustment. And, again, I told you this, and we've talked about it before, the Florida State game, we lost. Can you read that score? Because I can't read it.
76-53.
76-53, and we were down 24 points at half, and we beat them by 1 in the second half. And I walked into the locker room, and I told the girls, I said, get us back to the NCAA tournament. We're going to win. And that was my post-game speech. And really, the looks on their faces was really kind of the normal, this guy's lost his mind,
well,
that I usually get from him.
As you were walking over to do the post-game interview, I thought, this is probably not going to go well because we lost by 20+. But you were very happy at that post-game because of the way we played in the second half.
I was very happy. I was sad because that was our last BCS opponent before we got to conference. Mm-hmm. I was really, really happy because I thought I had figured out what we need to do. And I do it with you all the time. If we figure out what we need to do to be successful, we're going to tell you that.
Right.
Coming out of the Illinois game, that's what I told you. I told you we figured out what we need to do to be successful, and that's what happened in that Florida State game.
You're telling me the two games you learned the most are the games you lost.
Florida State and Illinois. Yeah, those were the two most important. And that is why, Chris, we play the BCS schools, because you learn more about your team when you have to push yourself, and when you play so far above your head, you learn how your team competes the best. You're not going to find that out playing mid-major 247 RPI teams. You've got to go play against the best to see what it is that you've got to do to compete with them. And it was like glaring to us coming out of those two games what we needed to do to be successful. And we needed to press from the Illinois game, and we see how that turned out for us. And then from the Florida State game is we need to control the basketball because we're better than they are at the guard position, and that's what we did against North Carolina. And it was, a fingernail away from being successful.
Okay, magically I can wave the wand and you get one game back. Which game would you like to play again?
Can we have like 18 seconds back? Can we have 8 minutes back? Truth of the matter is, knowing what you know now and knowing what these kids can do now, you just say, line up and play it again.
Yeah.
We'll go to Gonzaga, and I told people at the Gonzaga game, we play them at home, and we can beat them. And people are like, no, but they beat you 30-something points. I said, yeah, but we had to fly out. We left at 2 o'clock in the morning. We had to fly out there. We had to play the next day. It was a crazy trip. The kids had never flown.
That's exactly right.
Freshmen,
this is your freshmen playing in their second game in their career.
They weren't prepared for it. it was just a train wreck waiting to happen. And then the Northern Kentucky game was one that we would kind of want to have back. The Missouri, the last 10 minutes of the Missouri game, you'd love to have that back because we were in control of that one.
The flu game.
There's a lot of things that you would like to do differently, but granted, we learned from that, and it gave us better chances to win down the road.
We're going to put the seniors on in just a moment, and then we'll come back and wrap things up with you. We're at Snappy Tomato Pizza. You can come out and visit and hang out with us. Players are here. Got some photos, if they're still here, that they'll autograph for you. And T-shirts also, championship T-shirts. I want to ask you specifically about Heather and Jasmine because they were so good when they first got here. How did their game improve in that 4 years that you watched them mature as basketball players?
Well, you probably need to ask them how they felt their game improved. I think their mental approach, is better than it was when they were freshmen. And freshmen, I kind of did a lot of that for them. Mm-hmm. And by their senior year, I didn't have to. I could just kind of prod them just a little bit. Jasmine was a better jump shooter by the time that she got to be a senior than she was when she was a freshman. She really didn't have a jump shot. Butler had developed a little floater that she didn't have when she got here, which made her more versatile.
She got stronger, too.
They both got stronger. They both got physically and mentally so much tougher. But I don't know. That's a question you need to ask them because, ironically, every single year we would say, okay, Butler and Newsom are going to come back. They're going to be as good as they were. They would come back better. Every year they're better.
It was shocking.
Oh, yeah, because the teams are focusing more on them. Mm-hmm. They would get more double teams. They would face much more pressure. Butler, Lord help, got held. Every game she was out there, she's getting held and grabbed and pushed, and she continues to produce numbers that help us win. And I don't know how they kept doing it, but they got better and better and better every single year.
Because of them, in basketball, whenever you have two really good players, you get a lot of different defenses thrown at you. You've seen it all.
We did.
Everything.
We saw every defense, I think, this year that's known to man, and that's the ESPN people were asking, well, have y'all played a lot of triangle and two to get ready for this game? And I was like, no, we hadn't really played any. Well, why are you going to do this? Because we've played against it in practice so many times. These kids know the ins and outs. We've played against diamond and one, triangle and two, so when I tell them what to do, it's not complicated because we've seen all those defenses. So, in that North Carolina game, I think we played a matchup zone, a triangle and two, a diamond and one, man-to-man, and it was different things that we had done all season, but because we had seen it all, you're right.
In those 4 years, if you don't sign Heather or you don't sign Jasmine and they're not on the same team together, and you look back, how does that change everything? Are they still as successful and have the numbers that they have as they graduate this year?
Yeah, that's a great question. that you would think that you would be more of a normal team with a point guard and a shooting guard and a small forward and a power forward and a center, and truthfully, we were 2 point guards and trying to figure out how to use 2 little guards at the same time, and I think they complemented each other so well that I don't know how it would have been with. I wouldn't think their numbers would be as high, even
only because if a certain defense was zoned in on one of those, the other one stepped up and took advantage of it.
They did, and so you couldn't key on one because the other one would go nuts, and so I think that's probably a big area that you saw where those two could one would have a huge game, and you could tell teams that said, okay, we're going to guard this way. Yeah. Well, it doesn't work. You can't focus in like that because we tried to put them in situations where they would be successful, but it didn't take them long to figure out, okay, Butler's being keyed on, so Jasmine would turn it up a notch, and it didn't
seem to matter to Heather if Jasmine was having the big game. It didn't matter to Jasmine if Heather was getting the shot.
No, they didn't care.
That was the great thing about it.
They just wanted to win, and that's a testament to those kids and to our team, and it's our program in general. I mean, we want to win, and if we think we can win with whoever shooting the ball, then that's who we're going to give the ball to. And the kids don't have a problem with that because they want to win too, and they know, we don't play favorites. Well, actually, we do. Yeah, we play lots of favorites. Yeah, the ones that are going to dive on the floor and rebound and make shots and are great teammates. Well, those are our favorites, and it's funny that those kids don't care. If Jasmine would have been absolutely thrilled if Katie Schubert averaged 21 points a game and she got to penetrate and kick to her all day long and Katie got to shoot, and Jasmine, if that's going to help us win, that's what we're going to do. And that's why we have had such a successful season, and those 4 seniors have had such a successful career, is because it's the old sayings. It's amazing what you can accomplish when no one cares who gets the credit. Yeah. And those 4 kids absolutely don't care who gets the credit. It doesn't matter to them as long as they collectively win.
Okay, we're going to put them on the radio when we come back. Coach McMillan will have you wrap up the show, and we'll talk about next season. Skyhawk Talk continues live from Snappy Tomato Pizza on the UT Martin Skyhawk Sports Network. Megan White and also Jasmine Newsom on. How about all the fans showing up, Heather? Have you been taking pictures and signing autographs?
Yes, signing and everything. Yeah, we love it. We always love seeing people from the community.
Okay, now, you're seniors, and let's go back to your freshman year. And let's start with you, Heather. What are the memories from the freshman year?
Seeing what the competition is like, and seeing what level that we had to come up and play to. So that
was it that much? I mean, you were very successful at Gibson County. Was it that much different?
Yeah, because everybody that you played against was pretty good. Because at Gibson County, we pretty much
you dominated.
Yeah, we dominated.
I can say that. You may not be able to, but
I was trying to figure out the words, but it was much different coming into college.
You didn't lose many games in high school.
No, not many.
Megan, I know less about your high school career, but what was that transition like for you, and what do you remember about your freshman season?
I would say more getting used to being in Tennessee.
Yeah,
than anything.
Right. Because you're from Ohio.
Yeah. As far as basketball goes, being on an actual team, having people around you that care about the game as much as you do.
Yeah, so that was good.
Yes.
See, because I've always heard great players play better with great players. And it's difficult for really good – what are you laughing for, Jasmine? It's difficult for really good players to play with people who are not at their level. Yeah. All right, let's give Jasmine the microphone since she's – what about that freshman year?
It was tough, especially going into practice, not knowing what to expect, not knowing what to expect in games. I mean, we just had to get used to it.
And it was a successful freshman campaign. And I remember asking Coach McMillan after the season, will this group get better? And you did get better. And he wanted me to ask you this: how has your game improved from your freshman year to your senior year, Jasmine?
Oh, it's a big jump. My jump shot wasn't good when I first came. My jump shot is better now.
How did that happen?
I mean, him pushing me in practice. We did, what was the drill called? The elbow-to-elbow drill. Mm-hmm. We did that a bunch, which I hated. Nah. But, I mean, I had to do it, though.
To get better. Mm-hmm. What about you, Heather? How are you a better basketball player than you were 4 years ago?
I'm more diverse, I think. I still had struggles with my left hand coming into college, and I think it's gotten a lot better. I did. Yeah. In high school, I did not want to use my left hand. So I'm more versatile, I guess you can say.
And that's just practice and repetition?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. How about you, Megan? How are you a better player than you were 4 years ago?
Probably mentality. He stressed from day one that I was a better three-point shooter than I ever thought I was.
Really?
So,
were you a three-point specialist in high school?
Not really.
Really?
I mean, I shot threes, but I never focused on it. But then in college, I really focused on shooting threes and became the best at it. So.
One of the things I noticed about the three of you is your guns. I mean, you got so much stronger. A lot of time in the weight room?
Yes, a lot of time. Conditioning. Oh, yeah.
When did that happen? When was the biggest transition? Was it between your freshman and sophomore year? Was it just coming here or in the last year? When did you know you had to be stronger to be successful at this level?
Freshman year. Yeah.
How much time did you spend in the weight room?
Did a lot of push-ups.
Yeah?
Yeah, Coach Rayburn over there, he had us conditioned.
Okay. I'm going to ask all three of you this, and I want different answers. So if somebody steals the other answer, you can't answer this.
Okay.
Which game will always stand out 20 years from now when you look back at your career? Which game will you always remember? We'll start with you, Megan. We'll start with you.
Probably Baylor. Because
and you played them in Hawaii.
Yes, and we played with, I know the three of us played, and they were starting probably all people over 6 foot, and we only lost to them by 15. So probably that game,
including Brittany Griner.
Yes.
Now, going into that, you knew who she was, but you had never stood on a floor with her. What was that experience like? She's
bigger than I thought she was, but it was cool. She's actually nicer than I thought she would be too. But it was. Besides her dunking on us.
There's a picture in the team room, I guess, where she's guarding you. Oh my gosh! Yeah, I mean that's a big.
Yeah.
It's like a cartoon kind of. It's a big contrast. All right, you can't say Baylor, so Heather, what's the game for you?
Probably this past one, North Carolina.
The North Carolina game.
Oh, yeah.
You stole Jasmine's game.
I'm sorry. Sorry. I mean, there's lots of them that's sticking on mine, but that one probably.
I'll never forget that game.
Oh yeah. First of all, that. Of course, it was a tough loss, and I'll never forget the pain that's from that tough loss. But at the same time, I feel like that was the one game that we came and played as a huge unit together. Yeah. We played really well together.
Because I think 20 years from now, you could ask me, and I wasn't playing, what do you remember about that game? And I can specifically remember 10 different aspects of that because there's so many things going on. That foul that they called on you.
Oh, man.
Anyway, well, I don't want to relive it. All right. I mean, that's crazy. So anyway, what's your game, Jasmine? You had all this time to.
I know. She really stole it. I didn't think I was going to say it. I think you was going to say it. Yeah. It had to be the games last year at the OVC tournament. All three.
Oh, you were amazing in the
OVC
all three tournament.
Of those.
Yeah.
I don't know how we won, but we won.
Well, I don't know either. And you played 100 and I guess 125 minutes because one of the games went to overtime.
I feel like all of them went to overtime, didn't they?
No, they were.
Felt like it, but it wasn't.
That was okay. Finish this sentence. Since graduating or finishing my basketball career, I will not miss. And then what's a part about basketball? There's got to be something. You will not miss.
I would not miss the 2 mile run.
I knew. I think everybody was going to say that.
What's the 2 mile? I don't know what it is, but when do you do it?
During the summer and during conditioning. Oh,
when you say 2 mile, people are probably like, 2 mile, that's no big deal. But it's not what you're thinking it is. It's not like.
Are you timed?
Yes.
What's your time?
Horrible.
Horrible .0. What's your time?
I don't remember.
Yeah, she's done in like 10 minutes.
Really?
I don't remember.
Yeah. I will miss. So all of you say the 2 mile run? No. Okay. You won't miss ice baths and.
The ice baths. That's true.
Miss it.
Yeah. Yeah. What will you miss? What will you miss the most?
Man, the girls, the coaches, the team environment, being around the girls for sure, no doubt.
Jasmine. I don't get emotional.
I would say just being competitive.
Yeah.
Sports is like the most competitive thing you do throughout your life, and just being competitive and practicing every day and all that.
Yeah, because you're already kind of.
I won't miss practice, but
you're experiencing that. But you know what, guys? I watched y'all practice, and your practices were tougher than the games. Most fans don't know that. Y'all beat each other up out there.
We do.
I saw people got kicked in the head, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
It was intense. No fouls called in practice, right?
Yeah.
Was there ever been a foul called in a practice?
No. Not very often.
Probably is.
Yeah. Coaches, will any of you ever coach basketball?
I hope so.
You do? Let's start with you. You want to?
Yes,
What level?
I would like to.
What level?
Any age level. I like the high school kind of college levels, but who knows?
You'd be a great
I like
coach.
all the other ones too.
The only thing, though, the three of you are so good, you're going to have the Michael Jordan issue or the Larry Bird. When they coached, if their players didn't play as hard and like they did, they got upset. So that's going to be difficult for you to give your players a pass.
Yes.
How about you, Megan? Would you like to coach?
Yes, I would.
Oh, really? And what level?
Probably middle school or high school, probably not college. But
Why not?
because I want to be a physical therapist, so I couldn't do
Yeah.
physical therapy and be a college coach. So
How about you, Jasmine? I have a story about you, actually. How about you?
You have a story.
Yeah, my son kind of worked out with you guys one time, and he was really little. He was like 8 or 9 years old, and he got home. I said, "How did it go?" And he said, "Oh, it went okay." And I was like, "Well, what did you think about Heather and everybody?" I liked them. What did you think about Jasmine? He said, "I don't like her." And I said, "Why?" He said, "She's tough in those drills." And this was after your probably freshman or sophomore season.
I was nice during care.
Really?
No, he just thought you were all business, which is a
yeah.
good thing. You are.
Yeah, I want to coach.
Yeah. You would like to coach?
Yeah. Not high school, though. I just want to stay on college.
College coaching? Yeah. No, I think you'd be a tough coach. If you
High school?
No, college. But I mean, this is the thing that I didn't really see with y'all that I saw with her. When you turned it on, when you got really upset and decided that you were going to really play, there's this look in your eyes. I mean, like few people get it. But and then you knew. I mean, am I crazy or did you guys see it too? Yeah. And it's the jet. Now look, I'm kind of getting it right now. But now there was a transition. Can we talk about what's going to happen this weekend for the two of you? Yeah. Tell us what you're going to be doing, I guess, Saturday.
Going to Pro Hoops Combine in Franklin, Tennessee. Kind of like where WNBA coaches and overseas kind of agents and stuff, they come and watch you play.
Yeah.
And, yeah, you register for it.
Yeah, well, so if you get an opportunity to play pro ball in the WNBA, what's that going to be like, Jasmine? Now she's getting all bashful and humble.
I mean, it's going to be a great experience. Something to look forward to.
You got to be more excited than that. How about, would you go to Europe if that opportunity?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Would you?
Yeah, I don't know about that plane ride, though.
No.
But
Yeah. But no, that's big, and that's coming up Saturday. It's the women's Final Four.
Yeah.
I have one other. I probably shouldn't ask you this, but do you guys want to see North Carolina do well in the NCAA tournament because it makes you look better? Or are you ready to see them?
yeah, I mean, since they beat us, I want them to win a championship. But then again, I want them to lose too. So
Yeah.
I think it's only human for us to be like, we want to
I have
get
mixed
back.
emotions,
You know,
yeah.
It's only human to do that. But at the same time, we don't want to wish
But
harm
but
on
if they
them.
win, if they were to win the championship, I'm telling everybody, all they're going the commentators in the game are going to talk about you.
Yeah.
They're going to say
Yeah.
UT
They
Martin.
said something about us last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just more, ladies, on behalf of everybody who watched all the games and all the memories, thank you so much. And I hope you do, Coach, because I think you'll all be very successful. You're still laughing. But
I'm smiling.
And I want you. I want to see you play professionally because we're selfish too, and we want to see you keep playing at the next level.
Well, thank you.
So, any words to the fans that are listening that couldn't make it out tonight?
Megan got this.
Megan's got this. We're going.
thanks for all your support and love through all these 4 years. We appreciate it.
And you know what's weird, Megan? I'm gonna miss your dad. Will he occasionally drive down to Martin and watch a game, maybe?
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll take a break and come back. Thanks to Heather, Jasmine, and Megan. Coming up with Coach McMillan in just a moment on the UT Martin Skyhawk Sports Network. Back with Coach Kevin McMillan. Only a few minutes left here at Skyhawk Talk, and it was so nice to visit with the three seniors. And, Coach, that's what it's all about right there. It's not about the wins and the losses, but to see how they've matured and how they've grown up, it's got to be rewarding for you as a coach.
Well, Chris, two things that I want to make sure that I say, and it goes in with what you just said about that senior class. I told Butler and Newsom this when we were on the way to kind of doing some professional things for them, but I would rather have been on that plane flying home with those kids, given that game just like it ended, than to be in a North Carolina locker room and have won the game and be moving on. I mean, it's just there's no other way that I would want it to end except with those kids, and you can't. You can't duplicate what we were trying to do with those kids.
Coach, we're done. I was going to ask you about next season, but
we got a lot to talk about next season.
Yeah, we really do. quickly, we do have 30 seconds. Can you tell us some schedule information? Give us a little hint or two.
We got a lot of BCS schools back on the schedule. It's going to be the same as always, and our kids are going to grow up and grow up quick.
Really?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, great. Maybe we can talk about it on our TV show.
Okay.
Which will be airing in probably about a week or so, and people can find out more about it then.
Thank you, Coach. Always a pleasure. The interviews with you are always the best.
Appreciate it, Chris. And I had one more thing, and now I've forgotten it. So we'll talk about it on the TV show.
But, yeah, you can go to utmsports.com on the web. The Coach Kevin McMillan Show is on, and I think you can watch the archived Coach McMillan shows. We have a little bit more time. It's a little bit more information there. But, Coach, it was a great run. That's going to do it here for Skyhawk Talk. Players are still here. You can come out to Snappy Tomato Pizza and hang out and visit. For Coach McMillan and the players, I'm Chris Brinkley. Thanks to Frank and the gang at Snappy Tomato Pizza. NCAA basketball action's next on our flagship station.
But it's the best sense that I can make of it to those kids, and it's the best thing I can give them over time. Yeah. Who would have thought, honestly, Chris, that you and I would be sitting here talking 15 years ago after we lost in a tournament game and da-da-da-da, you think, well, the world's going to come to it. No, this leads to this, which leads to this had to happen, so this happened, so this happened. And if you will let go and let that stuff run its course, you're not always going to be thrilled, but usually you get rewarded a lot bigger. Now I'm patting you on the back, I would much rather be sitting here with you right now having this conversation in this setting than winning the game that gave me so much pain 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to look at things a certain way in order to, well, I guess that way you don't cry about it all day. But I mean that you just and those as you live longer and longer, you see that. You see those things that's the way you need to look at things, and you hope that you can pass that on to the little sphere of influence that you have, because you sure don't want to say, well, this happened to us in this game, so you know what, I'm not going to work any hard at this, and now you let this slide. Next thing you know, your grades are sliding, and your relationships are no. You just keep doing what's right, and you keep doing it all the time. You will be rewarded. You may not be rewarded like you want to be rewarded, and when you want to be rewarded. That's the big thing, is that we always think we want to get
on our terms.
On our terms, we want to get rewarded and see, and it's not that way. And you have to have the faith and trust that I don't know what's fixing to happen in my life, but I'm going to keep doing the right things, and I will take whatever comes from that.
Okay, Coach and philosopher, we'll leave on that.
Sorry about that.
Optimistic. That was good, Coach. Coach Kevin McMillan. Thanks for watching the Coach Kevin McMillan Show.
Thank you for that introduction. I don't know all the stories are true or not. I didn't think about the space today. First of all, I want to thank the space group that's our mind. And I guess the one thing I want to say about me and my life, I'm lucky. You could ask my friend here today, I take off with everything. They'll be take that. So I think I was lucky to come to Martin. Out of high school, we didn't have a high school team. Coach Steck gave me a chance to play here. When Coach Folk came, we had some pretty good players that showed up. And I feel very fortunate and lucky to have had the players to back me up that I had during that time. Several of them are here today. Reagan Horn, Mike Wharton, Johnny Walker, Chris Thurman. And Don McDonald. But Eddie Edgar and I we started out as the two starting figures during that time. I noticed that two starting figures, well, we didn't have it. He and myself at Ray Plain, he was the relief guy. As the years went on, like I said, the two nicknamed him the Ray Plain, the Vulture. Eddie and I would pitch, get about 6 or 7, and then we get in trouble. Here comes Ray. So he'd come in and relieve us when we needed help. I feel very fortunate, like I say, to have been able to play with these guys UT Martin. And like Coach said, we won the first conference championship in against UT Martin district. When I came, it was UTMB ball. I went through the name change during that time to UTM balls, and now it's changed again. So those were the old days. Mr. Thomas here, I remember. I can say we did this a year fast to work on the field. But things have changed. I look back on the times, 68. Lifelong friends. Like I'm blessed. I'm going to say something about my wife. We got married during that year, 67, and she stuck with me all these years also, which I feel very blessed to have that. I have two good friends here today, Tony Jones, Billy Robbins, and James from Pittsburgh. We're all from Canada. I feel very fortunate to have Lindy here, a family member. I had two granddaughters that don't come, and one of them is playing softball. Could get out, she brought her stuff to play, and if it rained. So you can see why I'm on her list. I'm second softball, but that's fine. And the other one is she was traveling on the traveling gymnastics team out west, and she couldn't be here either. So once again, I feel blessed in my life, lucky to have been associate player in 68, 69, and I think probably in 69 we had only lost 3 players off the 68 team, 3 or 4. And I feel like we have a chance to repeat this conference champions again. But we started out the year 8-0, then we went 13-3, and then we had a couple of injuries, and we finished here 15-11. So, like I say, we were limited in our players back in those days. We didn't have a 30-man roster like we do now. In future, we were limited. So I feel very fortunate to be part of that team, and honored to be given this honor today. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming again. I'm going to close with a couple of things. One, just in your making notes, I've watched UT Martin play sports in 6 decades. I'm only 59 when I left first. I remember watching these guys when I must have been 13, so I remember watching Max Berry, Randy Warren, John Walker, and Mike, and all these people play. And then Kristen, decades later, just a remarkable ball player, one of the best I've ever seen. I've been around girls softball a lot. Just to comment on some of the others, Lee Mayo, the kickers are very important. I'll never forget. Many of you know Fred Pickard. One year in the preseason kind of review or preview of what the season was going to be like that year. Fred Pickard got up and he had that serious face and said, "Now, first we're going to talk about a kick game. Not too worried about that because we don't expect to be close enough to goal line to kick the field goal." Kickers are important. There are several of them in this Hall of Fame. Jeff Elder, many of you have been several references to Danny Walker. Danny was really the franchise player for our teams back in high school that won 42 games in a row. And I had the unfortunate pleasure of playing as a senior on the team that ended that winning streak. The story that has nothing to do with UT Martin about that, though, is that after Danny left, we were kind of hurting to generate some offense. And Coach Dunn came out to practice after our first loss to Union City and said, "Well, the wishbone was big back then. If you remember, Texas had taken 2 years to put it in before they ever used it in a real game, I think." And Coach Dunn came out to practice and said, "Well, if we can't block the tackles, we're just going to not block the tackles, and we're going to run the option." And our quarterback, we were going to put in the option on Tuesday to use on Friday, and our quarterback, Jeff Elder. And we didn't run it like Texas. And then Coach Beeler, I'm going to give him credit for this quote since he's not here. He can't argue with But we have a really good football team. Hope all of us stay for the game today. And I don't know which quarterback will play or for how long, but we've got two good ones. Jared Neal and Dylan Farr. Dylan, Brett Farr's nephew. Jared is a 4.0 student, just an outstanding student. When somebody was standing up today and talking about his academic success, I thought to myself, man, we've come a long way since Kelly Coker. Now, Kelly was supposed to be here today, but I remember Coach Beeler telling me, because I was kind of amazed at the time Kelly was here and how hard he could throw football. He could really zip the football. And I said, Coach, he can really throw that ball. He said, yeah, if he can just remember the play from the huddle to the line of scrimmage, we'd be pretty good. I know Coach Carroll probably won't know about that. Be good with us. Well, listen, thank you all for coming. Be sure and take in Quad City. If you haven't been back since Charlie Deal and his staff started that, it's really a treat to walk through the quad. You'll probably see people you haven't seen in a while. Stop by the Rose Golf Center and be sure to come to the ball game and be there early. I like these challenge to get there early and be ready to go. So thank you all for coming. And if you need anything, if I owe you tickets, just grab me by the arm and say, I need some more tickets for the game. Some of you asked me, I know that's what you do. So have a good day.
Network. Touchdown, Tennessee! Big Orange Hotline, an hour-long recap and preview of University of Tennessee football with your hosts, Bob Kessling and former Vol and NFL quarterback Pat Ryan, along with special guests to talk about the Tennessee Volunteers. Presented by Dead End Barbecue and Miller Lite. To get on board and talk to Bob and Pat, dial 1-800-688-8657. Or Tennessee customers of Verizon can dial #TENN. Big Orange Hotline is brought to you by
Tennessee LASIK Associates. Schedule a free evaluation today by visiting tnlasik.com.
By UPS. Learn how UPS can put the power of logistics to work for you. Visit thenewlogistics.com.
By CCM Photo Books. Preserve and capture your favorite Big Orange memory forever at volphotobooks.com.
By the new
What are we going to talk about? So we need to say, the women's basketball team would like to have a special thank you for a group of people that we have had help us this year make our post-game meals just a tremendous success. We tried to do more of a family-type atmosphere with some home-cooked meals for the kids because they don't get them that. And with Dwight and Diane Merritt's leadership, we have had a tremendous year in our post-game meals. The kids have absolutely loved it. They've gotten to feel a little bit more at home, and we'd just like to say a special thank you to Dwight and Diane, along with Jerry and Becky Brigance, Nick and Kathy Dunnigan, Joe and Vicki Exum, Jackie and Nell Gullett, John and Jody Hatler, Trent and April Jones, Sam and Karen Llewellyn, Scott and Laura McDonald, Tom and Janice Noble, David and Beverly Oliver, Dee Pritchett, Bob and Betsy Robinson, Phil and Claire Wade. Again, it's been a wonderful year, and the kids have really enjoyed the help that these people have provided, and we really want to say a special thanks to them.